actually, and I'm sorry to lose my temper and get.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inna alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala ahlihi wa ashabihi wa min tabahum bil ahsan ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. Ya ikhwan wa akhwat, I want to just a quick announcement tonight. One of the things, and I call this stream here to you all, is basically let's build our teams. Get the teams. Let's build the teams. Let's get it going. Get ready to grow your team. That's what I called it. Get ready to grow your team. Let's get started. Tomorrow, Friday night, night after tomorrow, as every Friday night, we will be having our Muslim Group Economics Initiative meeting. That's every Friday night. The same link works week after week after week. Save the link. That link we'll be using throughout the year and into next year if need be, to build our teams, to build this effort, to make it happen. Guess what? Just imagine if every time you opened your wallet, there was more money in it than it was the last time you opened it. And that happened every time you open your wallet. You open your wallet, it's more. You open your wallet, it's more. What do you think about that? What do you think would be the results of that if you, every time you opened your wallet, you found more? What do you think would happen? What do you think your response would be? If you had a residual stream of income that just hit your wallet every Friday, you got paid. Well, that's what happens with this, and that's what I'm trying to get everyone on. We get paid every Friday on that Caribar's MasterCard. You see that? That's my MasterCard. Every Friday, I get paid. You have one too if you have an account. It's no cost to get locked on. Get in touch with the person who sent you this video. Get in touch with the person who sent you the video, and then sent you also, because in every video there's the invite, the information. You'll either find it in the description, and also you may also find it in the comments, that we put a lot of information, including the link how you can sign up. But if someone sent you this, you get back to that person. They have a link to sign you up and put you on their team, their organization. Because every one of us starts to build. You will start to build also. Build a team. And this team is going to be running. Every team is going to be running, and probably will start somewhere in April, mid-April. Sometime in between mid-April and in mid-May. Within that, it's a 3-week period. We're looking at really starting to build this residual income. And you want to know, how is it done? Well, our product is gold. And for those of you who don't know, that's our product right there. That's 5 grams of 4 nines gold. That's as fine as gold gets. It doesn't get any finer than that, right? And also we have our own money. And let me just show you that a little bit. That's our own money. And believe it or not, that's actually gold embedded within those bills. Gold embedded. Right? That's green, so it's messing with my green screen. But that's actual gold, 1/10 of a gram of gold. So we have 1/10, 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, and it's totally divisible up to 10, up to a full gram in the bills. And then we have we have cards that like this that are 1, 2.5, 3 grams, and 6 gram cards. Now, I want to tell you that we're talking about moving away from a debt-based system. That's debt right there. You see that? It says Federal Reserve note, right? Sorry about that. That's green. So they still call them the greenback. But anyway, what's happening is that's debt. And like all debt, it inextricably has riba, or interest, associated with it. We need to get out of that system. It's a debt-based system. It's a system that extracts wealth from the working class, the investor class, those who were in deposits deposits it with what we have come to refer to as the 1%, or, you know, Buffett and those guys, right? Those guys with tens of billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. They make money whether the economy is good or bad. In fact, they make more money when the economy is bad, believe it or not, because that's how they are being, this system is designed. The system we have is global. It's called the central banking system. And every country is either directly or indirectly controlled by that. Because if you control their economy, you control the country. And that's what they're able to do. And if you look at the news, that's what happens. Look what they did to Greece. That was an arm twist that they did to Greece. Just study that and you'll see what I'm talking about. They actually took money from the citizenry. Now, let me tell you another thing, that if you have money in a bank or a financial instrument, anything in their system is not your money. In reality, it's not your money. And if you want to know more about that, we'll talk about it Friday night at 9 p.m. Ask the question. Get on, ask the question. Say, hey, you said that that's not our money. What's the evidence for that? You know, we're an evidence-based people because of our deen. Hatum barhan kuntum sadiqin. Bring the evidence. Bring your proof. I will bring the proof. If you have a question about it, if you're not clear on that, understand something. But this gold is ours. It's our gold. It can circulate. It can create wealth for us. Now, I want to share something with you that falls right in line. This is a guy named Dalen Radican. I call it Radican's Rant. He did this a few years ago, but it is so he's still relevant. Okay, so take a listen to this.
$8 trillion.
I understand that, but
to walk out a $4 trillion solution, which is basically just a way for the Democrats to avoid dealing with this until 2017. I'm not here to talk about plans to deal with this till 2017. I'm saying we've got a real problem, and I'm tired of Republicans and Democrats who Republicans who want to burn the place to the ground, and Democrats, with all due respect, who want to offer a plan that gets it through their end of their second term of their presidency, and then screws me and my kids when it's over. And until we do that, we have to deal with the extraction that is at foot. It is the reason the financial markets are behaving the way they're behaving. That is a mathematical fact. This is not some opinion. This is a mathematical fact. Tens of trillions of dollars are being extracted from the United States of America. Democrats aren't doing it. Republicans are not doing it. An entire integrated system, financial system, trading system, taxing system that was created by both parties over a period of 2 decades is at work on our entire country right now. And we're sitting here arguing about whether we should do the $4 trillion plan that kicks the can down the road for the president for 2017 or burn the place to the ground, both of which are reckless, irresponsible, and stupid. And the fact of the matter is, until we actually, and I'm sorry to lose my temper, but I tell you what, I've been coming on TV for 3 years doing this. And the fact of the matter is that there's a refusal on both the Democratic and the Republican side of the aisle to acknowledge the mathematical problem, which is that the United States of America is being extracted. It's being extracted through banking, it's being extracted through trade, and it's being extracted through taxation. And there's not a single politician that has step forward, Susan, to deal with this.
But there's only one right now. The leader of the free world, whether you like it or not, the President of the United States is arguably one of the most powerful individuals we have out there.
But and Susan, what you're saying is exactly the point that Dylan is making. It's not about one guy. It's about all of them.
No, I actually disagree. I think Dylan's saying it is about one guy.
It is about one guy.
What would you like him to do?
I would like him to go to the people of the United States of America and say, people of the United States of America, your Congress is bought. Your Congress is incapable of making legislation on health care, banking, trade, or taxes, because if they do it, they will lose their political funding, and they won't do it. But I'm the President of the United States, and I won't have a country that is run by a bought Congress. So I'm not going to work with a bought Congress and try to be Mr. Big Guy. I'm working with the bought Congress. I'm going to abandon the bought Congress like Teddy Roosevelt did, and I'm going to go to the people of the United States, and I'm going to say, you've got a bought Congress. And until we get rid of the bought Congress, which is Jimmy Williams' constant point, which is get the money out of politics, and until a president says that's the problem and says he's going to fix it, there is no policy that I can possibly see, no matter how brilliant your idea may be, or your idea, or my idea, or her idea, or your idea at home, is That idea will not happen as long as there's the capacity to basically fire a politician who disagrees with me by taking funding away from him. Is that a fair assessment?
Money in politics is the root of all political evil. It is corruption at its worst. And until we step up and kick that out of the park, it's going to be the same system
and only the president could do that. We're going to keep you guys.
Congress has to do it too. The Congress has to do it too.
But I'll tell you what. How bad does it have to get? How much money has to be extracted? How many things have to be hurt?
Down to brass tacks. Okay, physically, what do? You
go and give a speech
right now.
Right now.
Right now.
You say.
And then what happens tomorrow?
Tomorrow, what happens is you begin the process of actually investing in solving the problem. So I come out and I say, how? I create an infrastructure bank with 2% blending immediately. There's that. Once I explain to people the problem, once I explain to you have cancer, once you understand how screwed up your trade, tax, and banking policies are, believe me, you will have no issue when I incorporate an infrastructure bank that I fund with repatriated offshore money that I bring in and then use to create 2% direct lending to every business in America. Because when you realize that the banking system is fully corrupt and defrauding us, and I come out and say that, which is what I want my president to do, then at that exact moment I say, you know what, we got a screwed up situation here, people. You all know it, and now what? I'm going to admit it. And as a result, not only have I admitted it, but we're going to begin the process of solving it like grown-ups. They did it in World War II. They did it after the Civil War. They did it in Latin America with the Brady bonds. We are not seeing it happen now. The panel stays a little more emotional than I anticipated getting it.
All right. So you've heard it. And he's right on point. There are a number of points made. Of course, I'm not in 100% agreement with, because he's talking about this system that we want to escape from. But yes, the banking system is 100% fraudulent, corrupt from the ground up, and it has been that way since its inception, not going back 2 decades, but from the inception of this banking system. It was designed to do exactly what it's doing. It's working perfectly. So the point is this, is that what we need is for every one of us to get on our feet and get to work. Come to the meeting. I keep saying that. Invite. Get as many people to that meeting as you can. Also, share this video out with as many people as you can. Get the message out. We need to move from a debt-based system that is inherently and inextricably connected to riba, and it is haram. It has been. We have an alternative. We have a completely 100% Sharia compliant system here, ready, turnkey, ready to go. We simply have to put it to work. Understand something. I've been doing this for 3 years, and in fact, on Friday nights, I do a presentation that I'm still tweaking, but I put it together just to address the Muslim community with it, to answer the questions that I've heard from them over the past 3 years. And I say, bring the people, bring the questions, let's put this on the table for a discussion and then go to work. Because it's not about meeting, it's about getting busy and doing the work that needs to happen to raise us up from a system that is robbing us and from a system that, as he was saying, it extracts wealth right out of our community, right out of the communities. And there's so much more to discuss. 501c3s, many masajid are 501c3s and begging for money. No, sorry, not that zakat as sadaqah is not from Islam. Yes, it is. But what they have is what we have there is an unsustainable system. Understand something. There's a local masjid here in this area, and I refuse to go to their events because of what they did and what they commonly do in Ramadan is hold you hostage. They hold the food hostage until they do their fundraising. They literally gathered the people for ibadah, and then they bring some politician who comes, Christian, who comes and promotes his program and calls to his book. But we gathered for what? We gathered for ibadah. There was an invitation, come and pray with us. We go pray, and then we got to hear that. Why? What's going on? Why are we not standing up for what we've been given? We have the haq, but we refuse to accept it and work with it. I apologize for if anyone takes offense for what I'm saying, and I really do. But I want you to understand something. It's not to offend you, it's to wake us up. It's to wake us up. That's what we need. We are in a haram system. If you think it's not, then come to the discussion and tell us why dealing in a fiat currency where they print money out of thin air, why they demonetize the wealth, the money that, or we call it money, that's a loose term, I'm using that loosely. It's a fiat currency that is a substitute. Money, it used to be a money substitute, and even then it was a poor one. Now it is a ridiculously inefficient one. And that's why interest rates, and that's why inflation and all of those other factors that dwindle away, that take away your spending power, and you try to save it, the longer you save it, the less it's worth. That should tell you something. One thing about money, it is a store of wealth, a store of value. It doesn't lose, it maintains, it keeps, and that's what gold is. Gold is our money according to the Sharia. This paper is haram according to the Sharia. We only deal with it out of the necessity. But guess what? Then the period of this being a necessity is long gone. It's long gone. So there's one other thing I want to share with you, and that is something about U.S. debt. Now understand something. U.S. debt is at 22 trillion, 22.1 trillion. And you want to know a little more about U.S. debt, what it's doing? Let's first take a listen to this.
An all-time high despite the strong economy. For the first time in U.S. history, the debt has surpassed $22 trillion. It's climbed nearly $2.1 trillion since President Trump took office. Two big factors contributing to this acceleration include the 2017 Republican tax cuts and increased spending on domestic and military programs. The Trump administration says the tax cuts will eventually minimize the national debt, but experts warn that the debt could hurt the economy.
All right. That was just a short reminder of what's happening. There's a site called U.S. Debt Clock. Check it out. This level of debt is not paid off. Understand something, and all you have to do is look at the historical, empirical evidence for this, right? These debts are not paid off. What happens to countries that go into the situation where the United States is in? He's not the first country to do this. Well, they first began, the 7 stages of an empire's collapse. Very good. I'm going to have to share that link out. Mike Maloney does an excellent sort of about a 30 or 40 minute, documentary or video on that. Maybe you can even find it by Googling the 7 stages or 7 steps to an empire's collapse. And you'll see that the United States is following it to the T, is following it to the letter, and it's not long before the economy completely collapses. We cannot continue doubling the debt. They want to raise the debt ceiling. Now, mind you, raising the debt ceiling, and I got to get off of this because I really didn't intend to go this long. I really just want to ask everyone to invite and get people in the meeting this Friday night. But just to say this in conclusion, raising the debt ceiling is like you. Just think of your own household economy. And by the way, the first economy you should be concerned with is your economy, that under your roof, yourself and your family. Then your family extended and your neighbors and your community. That's the economy that we should be more concerned about. But raising the debt ceiling is like you're spending more than you're bringing in. So you have a deficit, you have a trade deficit, and at the same time you're creating debt, which also has the other liability of in this system is that you're creating debt and interest too. You look at the U.S. debt clock and you see what the interest is. The interest on the debt we owe is over $300 billion a year and growing. The clock is still ticking, right? So what you have is someone who continues to do that. What happens? Pretty soon they become insolvent, and then they go into bankruptcy or total economic collapse. And that's where it's heading. That's where it is historically evidence points that countries do that. That's what happens to countries when they do what America is doing. Today I read an article that America has spent since 9/11 more than $6 trillion in war and cost over 500,000 lives. It's more than that, but let's just say we accept those numbers. $6 trillion. Every dollar they spend in war doesn't give us any return. Unless you're working for Lockheed Martin, McDonnell Douglas, or one of those military industrial complex members, then you're not really making money. Or maybe you're, taking care of the broken soldiers that are coming back, or you're getting to bury them, or whatever the case might be. There's a lot of going on that is destroying the fabric of this nation and taking us south. There's so many things going on. We're not going to go into that, but I think we're all aware that they're not just financial, but they are moral and ethical and just basic human issues that are going on in this nation that are causing its destruction internally. There's no need for an external enemy, like they want to build a wall. No, the problem is inside, and maybe that's to keep us from getting out. I don't know. But anyway, just gonna close it off right now. I'm gonna say Jazakallah khair for those of you who stuck around and listened to the end of this. I want to say that please, those of you who hear this, those of you who shared this, I will be also placing this on our group economics page, Muslim group economics page. Share, 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 invite, 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 and see you Friday night. And I'm looking forward to seeing each and every one of you. And let's have a real conversation about what we're trying to do and an action plan. Action plan. Come ready to act. Come ready to do work. Come ready to build. Come ready to move towards success as a community, as a group. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu